Hey guys, so what you're looking at is the new Huawei router from Airtel for the FTTH connection. So I've recently upgraded my connection from virtual fiber from Airtel to the FTTH connection, which is a new upgraded technology from Airtel. And what they have offered is this router along with the connection. And this is a dual band router which comes with a gigabit Ethernet. That means like you can transfer data up to 1000 Mbps over your LAN network. So this device also kind of provides the VoIP service, which means that you can connect, you get a telephone connection from this same router. So earlier, if you recall, the virtual fiber was a copper-based connection. Basically, it was a telephone line that came into your house, and then you use a splitter where you kind of split the connection into two. One goes into your VDSL modem, and the other connection goes to your telephone. Right. But in this case, what really happens is that you have the fiber cable that comes directly and connects to this router. And the telephone works on the VoIP channel, which kind of gets converted to an analog device, and that connects to your telephone, the regular telephone devices that you have. So basically, this router has a jack at the back, which has a telephone. It's RJ11, so that cable kind of goes and connects to your traditional telephone devices. So just to give you an overview of the LED lights that you see. So one is the power LED, that obviously makes sense. PON that you see here is basically it basically signifies that your router is connected to the fiber channel, and it has been working fine. There's no issues with it, so it should stay stable in green. LOS is something that signifies a problem with your fiber channel. So if it is not blinking, it's not illuminated, that is fine. Telephone, again, this LED should be stable in green, which means that your connection to the telephone is working fine. If it is blinking, it means that your telephone is not working. Then there is the USB LED. So I don't have any USB devices connected, so that's why it's not green. You can connect two USB devices to this router. One can be a thumb drive, the other can be a printer device that you can connect, or I hope you should be able to connect another USB device, which I have not tried. But yeah, basically you get two ports at the back of this router that you can use. Then you have the LAN indicators. Then wireless LAN is basically that shows that your wireless network is up and running. WPS is for connecting to the connection, to the wireless connection. So that's not on at the moment, right? So this is pretty much how the LED looks like on this device, with various connections and devices connected. So let me move forward. So this is how the cable comes into your house. So in your case, if it is not a wall internal wiring, it can come from the window, can be outside, so it depends. But basically there's a junction box to which the main cable connects, and from there this yellow cable that you see, that is the modem cable that directly goes to the fiber modem. And basically these cables are pretty fragile, so you shouldn't kind of fold it or pull it or do anything with that. So if you look here, these are the ports that are there. You see the telephone jack I was talking about. You have two USB ports, and you have 4 gigabit Ethernet LAN ports. So this device is basically a Ecolife HG8145V model. If you search it on the Huawei website, you will find an upgraded version. It's like 8245V, but not this model. So I'm assuming either this is a custom built model, or this is an outdated model which is not listed anymore. Also, if you search the internet with this model ID, you will find some other foreign broadband company that is using the exact modem, this same one. So I was able to find just one such company that was using this modem. I didn't find any other, and that appeared to be like from Philippines or Thailand, I think. So that's pretty much about the device here. Um, it is a pretty huge device. You can kind of do a wall mount with the two screws there. Um, and it has a stand at the bottom, so you can actually unscrew the stand and remove it, and you can also do a wall mount here. So at the back there's an optical port where the fiber glass wire connects. So make sure you never kind of look directly into the port of the modem while the modem is on. Unplug the wire and see. It's a safety hazard, it seems, because of the laser or whatever technology the fiber works on related. So yeah, so this is how the new latest Huawei router from Airtel looks like. So I will quickly take you over to the modem interface. We'll log in into the modem and see what facilities are there. So of course, as I said, this is a new modem from Airtel for the fiber connection, that is the FTTH connection. So we'll just log in there and see. So the default user password is user. I've changed my default one, so you should do the same. And here we are. So basically, if you look here, this is the class B product, and this is the Ecolife HG8145V GPON terminal, and so these are different parameters. This is something which is important. The operation state 5, which shows that you are well connected to the fiber channel. Then something important is this optical information. So all the values that you see in this this current value column, that should adhere to the reference value column. That means like every value that you have in the current column should be somewhere in middle or between the reference values. If they are not, you might feel a bit of fluctuation between the download and upload speeds. Maybe your phone will not work also. So in my case, this receive optical power was actually lower than what was expected. It was around -32 and the expectation was -20 dB, and that is why I was facing a lot of problem. My uploads were low and my downloads were also low, but at any point I was not disconnected from the internet, or even my latency was also okay, right? So I never faced a problem as such. Only when I was trying to kind of download something, the speeds would kind of start from MBs and it will go up to KBs. So that was one problem. So this is something that you should pay attention to when the engineer comes and installs it. Yeah, but it was quickly resolved for me next day. Then you have the DHCP information here, which basically shows the number of devices and the IPs that have been consumed by your router. Here you can see the number of Ethernet IPs and Wi-Fi IPs that I have consumed and the devices that are connected to it, right? So this is where you can see all these information. Going back to the Ethernet port, you can see the 100 MB and 1000 MB protocols that are available there. Old devices that still support 100 MB will connect at 100 MB. Even older that support 10 Mbps will connect at 10 MB speed, and you have the latest gigabit ones. They will of course connect at 1000 MB. So this is basically gives you an information of which port is connected at what speed here. So that's good. Wireless LAN information basically gives you all the information about your 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz wireless network configuration. I would like to say that this device being a free device from Airtel, or maybe for 900 plus GST a device that you get, uh, this is a lot better in terms of network range. Given you buy a dual band router from Amazon for around 2.5 to 4,000 rupees. So the Wi-Fi range is pretty good, and the speed on the 5 gigahertz network is also pretty much good. So I would say like on a 5 gigahertz wireless connection, you should be able to connect up to 300 Mbps, given Airtel has plans of up to 300 Mbps. So that's one benchmark that this router should fulfill if someone plans for a 300 Mbps and connects and tries to connect to that speed on a dual band uh, wireless connection on a device, right? So anyways, as an upgrade and an in-house router that comes from Airtel itself with your connection, this is a very good high-end router. Um, so you need not worry about the wireless range or whatever. The gigabit Ethernet network itself is like gigabit, so even if you connect like 4 devices that kind of consume a lot of data, heavy on streaming, it should not be a problem at all. Going to the WAN information, you'll see 2 entries here. One is for the internet and the other is for the VoIP. So any of these connections, if they show connecting or disconnected, that means it's a problem. The first one, which says internet, is for your normal broadband connection. The second one is for your telephone connection. So it basically works on the VoIP protocol that converts to the analog telephone line. So basically it's a RJ11 port at the back of your router that where you can connect the telephone cable and use your legacy or traditional telephone devices. So you don't need specifically a VoIP device as such. If Airtel wanted, I think they could have introduced a soft phone maybe for this. So anyways, so that's one thought. So there isn't much on the WAN side for you to do. On wireless LAN side, again you have all the basic and advanced settings for each of your gigabit networks, which is self-explanatory for. So there's one option which is automatic Wi-Fi shutdown, which I have disabled. I mean, it comes disabled. So basically, if you want, you can disable your Wi-Fi connection at given interval of time, right? So that's one thing there. Then you have something called as a Wi-Fi coverage management. So this is something that I still need to explore. I still don't understand the exact purpose of this facility here. So maybe you'll take a look at this sometime later. The next thing we can explore is the network application that gives you all the options related to your USB port. Basically, so you can configure your USB device, maybe a thumb drive or a portable hard drive, as a FTP server, as a media center. You can connect. You can also connect your printer to the USB port and configure it to be used by multiple devices within your home. So you can print from your phone, from your laptop, from your desktop, anywhere, right? That's something you can configure. So one important thing here that I find of usage for normal users is you can set up a domain name for each of the IPs that you want. So for instance, like let's say you have a network attached storage device that listens at some IP address, and you don't want to every time type that IP address on your browser or wherever you are using it. Instead, you can give it a domain name like my home server or something like that and map it to that particular IP address here, and it would be kind of get stored, and you can access using the direct domain name. So one thing I kind of missed here was that you can also reserve IP addresses for your devices. For instance, let's say you have of iPhone, right, that connects to kind of IP which is 192.168.1.2. So every time you disconnect your Wi-Fi and connect again, that IP will keep changing. So for some reason, I don't know what, you may want it to kind of every time connect to that 1.2 IP every time. So that's something that also can be configured. You can reserve that IP address which maps to the domain, to the MAC ID of that device. For doing that, what you have to do here is that you have to go to the user device information. When you go to the user device information, you'll see all the IPs that have been listed, that have been used in the past as well, with the MAC address that maps to it. So you kind of see on this page, so it's still loading. Okay, so here it is. So let's say Anastasia, this is my desktop, right? And I want to kind of ensure that every time it connects to this particular IP address whenever I disconnect or restart the router, because it's a dynamic assignment of LAN IPs, right? So I want to ensure that every time it kind of connects to the same IP. So what you can do is go to this network application here, and you can click on the configure reserved DHCP IP addresses. We'll go to that, but if what you see on the above options are like IP filter, MAC address filter, port mapping, these are also what you can do for this particular device. You can maybe filter this IP address not to connect to the internet, maybe kick it out from your network, do a MAC ID filter, so it will kind of filter based on the MAC ID of your device. You can do a port mapping. So that's something that you can do. So let's see the configure reserved address. So what you see here is like I have 6 devices that are already kind of reserved. So these 6 devices always connect to these different IPs. They never connect to any other IPs, even if they disconnect or I restart the router. So that's something that you can do. And here you can type you don't need to type the MAC ID address if you have kind of directly come from that user list. It will be auto populated. You can just change this IP to whatever you want, and you can click on apply, and it gets added to the list above. So that's that. Then you have something called as the system tools here. So it has all the options for restarting your router, diagnostics. So I'll just go through the things that would really matter to a normal user. One of the important such option is status management, indicator status management. So you can turn off the LEDs on this router using the on-off switch option here, radio buttons, right? So in case you kind of place your router right, maybe on your side table or maybe in front of your bed or something where it kind of keeps blinking and creates a problem, you can just turn it off. There is something called as advanced power management, which I have turned off because I don't know what this exactly does, but I don't want it to kind of optimize the performance of the router for saving energy. I want my router to kind of work 100% all the time with maximum Wi-Fi range and maximum bandwidth. So that's the reason I've kind of disabled it. It comes enabled, so you may want to disable it. So that's pretty much about this router that we had. So to end this, let's do a speed test. So I'm on a 40 Mbps plan. It's a 699 plan from Airtel, which kind of changes for every city and areas in the country. So I was on a virtual fiber connection where I used to get like 45 Mbps of download speed and around 10 Mbps of upload speed. So upload speed was the main problem. And since the technology upgrade was happening, I chose to kind of upgrade to fiber. So other than the upload speed and this cool router, I don't see much change for a normal user to kind of migrate from V fiber to the full FTTH connection. People who might face problems with the copper cable connection often feel disconnections at times, right? That is because it's an older technology, and if the wiring is not done correctly, there'll be disturbances in the connection and your connection will fluctuate. So in those cases, you might want to kind of upgrade to fiber. But in terms of quality of speed and all those things, I personally did not have a lot of a problem. So in my case, I just got this good router, and my speed kind of now touches approximately 40 Mbps, which is my plan. So let's see the speed test here. Also to just specify, most people kind of go for fiber connections because they do online gaming and they think the ping will, the latency would reduce. So the Airtel engineer told me that the expected latency in this case is for an FTTH connection is up to 23 milliseconds. That means you cannot complain to Airtel if you are seeing like 15 milliseconds. I said, like, if you look at in the US Google Fiber, you have like 1 millisecond to 0 millisecond of latency. So why this is there? So they said that that is how it is, and I can complain only if it goes above 23 milliseconds. So expected latency is up to 23 milliseconds for the Airtel fiber connection. So here you can see that I got a speed of around 45 Mbps and I get an upload speed of 41.92 Mbps, which for most users is more than sufficient. I have multiple people in my family using the connection at the same time on multiple devices, and I have had no issues in kind of even streaming Netflix or Prime videos at 1080p. So this speed is more than sufficient for you and for most users. So you have plans of 100 Mbps and then you have 300 Mbps also. The cost increases, but I don't know how much it justifies your usage. So that's there for me. I did not upgrade to 100 Mbps plan because I would have lost my existing long validity data that have around 1 terabytes of data still left, so that I might have lost as per the customer care. So once I exhaust that, I will probably upgrade. So that's the thought process for me. So anyways, thanks a lot for watching this video, guys. You can subscribe if you like it. So thanks a lot.